Hello everyone, welcome to Cloud World. This has been a great week. The Microsoft build has been happening throughout the week, and with that we got a lot of good news on the cloud side. Today we are going to be talking about one particular feature that is actually pretty nice for us as a developer and also as a cloud expert. They deploy and give us the capability to be able to use the AI Foundry locally. In case that you are not familiar with the AI Foundry service, this is actually one from the Azure side, will allow you to interact with LLMs. You can deploy those models and use it as whatever you need to, and give you the capability to process text, video, audio, computer vision, and many other tasks. One of the other great things that the Foundry allows you to do in the Azure portal is that you can easily integrate those services with many others. As an example, you can create an LLM that can look up for information in your Azure Storage account, in your Cosmos DB as a rack, and many other capabilities like integrated with OpenAI and many others. With the Foundry locally, you will be able to pull those models locally, experiment with those, and have certain capabilities locally. The good thing is this tool is open to preview, so you can get it as it is right now, and it's going to be open to get more updates throughout the next few months. So let's take a look what the local Foundry is, how it works, and how we can use it. Let's get started. Now from the Microsoft build, we got this information from the Foundry. So now this service can be easily integrated with Windows, and is going to give us a bunch of capabilities that we already can exploit with other technologies. As a pretty good example, this is going to replace, or is actually going to be an evolution in the Windows Copilot runtime. This means we are going to have a whole life cycle of development that we can use locally in order to fine-tune models, deploy them, and work with them. Also, we are going to have access to this technology locally, and you will be able to use your compute to execute those models. If you have a GPU or any other type of device like an NPU, you will be able to exploit that to run your model locally without going throughout the internet, and maybe taking additional charges for the request that you make. So this makes it actually pretty easy because this is going to be a edge deployment, so you will be able to execute those models and play with whatever compute that you have. One of the good things is that you will be able to fine-tune models like Physilia with custom data and many others. Also, you will be able to implement RAG capability with those models locally pretty easily as well. One of the good things on the hot topics is that you will be able to use the MCP protocol locally in order to orchestrate the calls between different applications as agents. So you can change requests between one application into another using agents in this case. Also, many of the actions from Windows will be interactive throughout these models as well, so you will be able to develop applications that can interact flawlessly with LLMs or AI throughout your applications. Also, it is important to mention that we have the whole setting here, so we'll be able to get those models, we will be able to customize those models as well, and it's going to have several capabilities already from the local environment. So it's going to have natural language, it's going to have vision, and everything is going to be executed in your Windows machine, taking advantage of your hardware. So now we can work with mostly with a bunch of open source models. This is going to give us a huge capability to get those. We will see in a moment how to install the Foundry locally and how to see the list of different models that we can get. So the easiest way to install the Foundry locally, it will be to use it Winged. So let's take a look right now. So if you want to install the Foundry locally, all you have to do is to execute winged install microsoft.foundry.local. Or if you are working on macOS, you will be able to use brew in order to install it locally. Once you have the Foundry installed locally, you will be able to play with different types of models. So let's go into the console and take a look how we can play with those. Now with the Foundry installed locally, we can use the Foundry command. So in here you will find that the new Foundry command is actually available for you throughout the terminal. This Foundry command is going to give you access to everything that you need to have locally. So let's take a look. With the preview that we have today, you will be able to get models, you will be able to manage the cache locally of those models too, and you will be able to control the service locally, which you would like to maybe to start or to stop based on the requirements. So if we use the Foundry model list, we will get a list of the different models that we can pull today. Also, it's actually pretty exciting to see that some of those models will support CPU and another ones will support GPU as well. It is going to give us an overview of the size of the model and the type of license that it has. Also, you will be able to take a look into the model ID, and using that model ID, you will be able to pull any model locally as you see fit. So using the run on the model subject, you will be able to pull any model locally. If you already have that model locally, it is going to just to execute it. So for that, we'll be able to use the command Foundry model run and provide the model ID we would like to use. In this case, we are going to be using V3 Mini 4K in order to test our code. This is going to pull the model from the source if it is not actually being pulled from the first time. So let's wait for a couple of seconds until this part of the concept finish. One of the good things is that after you execute your model locally, you will have a couple of options. You will be able to interact with your model using the CLI that you see here on the screen right now, and you can use external application to make requests, because this is one of the great things. You will have an HTTP protocol open in your machine throughout a particular port that the Foundry assigns, and you can make requests to that endpoint like making a request to any external service. So as you can see, this model just being pulled, and I can start interacting with it pretty easily. So I'm going to ask him, can you tell me what is Azure? So let's see what it says. Okay, so it gives us already a good response that Azure is also known as Microsoft Azure. Is a cloud compute service created and operated by Microsoft and many other things. This is actually running locally. So this is pretty good. We are not going to the internet, we are not paying for any additional compute, and it's actually using the hardware that I already have. Just for the sake of the demo, in my computer runs a GPU 4080 from NVIDIA. As part of the ecosystem, we also have the capability to implement our model locally using different libraries. So if you actually have Python or JavaScript already set up in your computer, it's actually going to be pretty easy. If you want, you can use any of those two today in order to interact with the Foundry library. In case for this example, I'm going to be using Python. For this demo, of course, you will need to have the latest version of the OpenAI library, which is already a global package that maybe you already know. And as part of this example, we need to install the Foundry Local SDK so we can interact locally with the API we just deployed. After that, we just need to import the OpenAI library and also import the Foundry local from the local manager library. So as soon as we have that, all what we need to provide it will be the alias. In this case, I'm going to be testing this code using the v3.5 mining model to make the test. From here, I just need to create a Foundry local manager using the alias of the model that I would like to use. And as pretty similar as OpenAI, I just need to open the connection using the manager. The good thing is that the manager is going to retrieve that endpoint and create a fake API in order to make the request. So if you later want to deploy this to production environment, all you have to do is to flag your code just to make sure that instead of using the Foundry local manager, use the instance creator for the model in this case. So as soon as we have everything set up, it is going to retrieve the information from our Foundry manager. And from there, I can use the OpenAI service to make a user request. Just remember, even if it says OpenAI, the request is happening locally to their Foundry API. So let's execute this. It's going to ask again what is Azure, and we are going to get a response from these models. So it gave us the response. The Azure refers to Microsoft Azure, a cloud computing platform, ecosystem, and many other answers. So it's actually pretty good. So as you can see, with this new deployment from Azure, we can run ecosystem locally, which gives us a good preview of interaction with different models using our local infrastructure. Join me on the next video where we are going to be taking this into the Azure side, where we are going to be working with the Azure AI Foundry directly in there. We are going to explore how to create models in there and how to deploy them in order to consume them. Thank you for joining me today. Have a cloudy day.